Okay. Hi, everybody. This is where I'm supposed to be coming live from, the ULFM radio station, but it doesn't work. It does not work at all. So, instead, for the next 40 minutes, I'm going to stream live on Instagram because that I have some sort of indication that it works. Hello, everybody. Kale, can you send the link into the Discord, please? Because this setup, hello Holiday, this setup is a mess and it doesn't work. If you go to the website at all, at any time, it starts at from 1 hour and 16 minutes and just plays Taylor Swift for about 3 minutes until it's silence. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. Here's something fun. Look, here's the monitors. I know that I am coming through this microphone. I unmuted the microphone. Here's the audios. This is on the station, the light. That's all done. When I did my training a month ago, this was the only thing they told me. Unmute the microphone. This is the levels for it. Light, pause this, whatever. This is on the sheet. I've done everything. Nothing I have done has broken this. I have not been responsible. The only rule I have broken today is that I brought a drink into the studio. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not know that was a rule. I am devastated. I could not believe it. I don't need to wear these. By the way, only works through one ear. So that's fantastic. Kale, if you send a link to my Instagram page, it should be. Why don't you call one of them? I did. I messaged them on Instagram or on Messenger, and they don't know what the crack is. But I still have a show to do, so that's what I am doing. I am doing my show now. I am just ranting at the fact that there are 4 shows, I think. Actually, no, sorry. I can't count. That's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 shows before mine. There's no way this worked for the 6 shows and just not for me. So, yeah, class. Anyway, it is. I'm sure it's a lovely setup if it works. I don't know why we use, a fucking RSS feed looking website from about 40 years ago to use it, but that's neither here nor there. I am not in charge. Any which way, I am going to get something to prop. I am a little frustrated. It may come across in my voice. It may do this, but that's just that when life happens, you just have to fuck life, I suppose. I'm going to prop it up on this monitor. And I am going. Oh, does it pause when I tab out? Oh, fuck it. If you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to send out that link to people I wanted to see it, my friends and family, because people watch my fucking show. So there are people who are actually invested in would you believe it? I don't know. I'm sure that any of these 6 shows are very interesting and good to listen to, but I don't know if anybody has been able to listen to them for I don't know how long. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that, send it in some WhatsApp chats, and then I will start. I am sorry. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pastor that I am live on Instagram because Instagram seems to. Anyway, now, right. Hello everyone, it's me. Here's my gormless fat head. I know for the last time some of you might have seen me, I wasn't as robust, but here I am. I put on a few pounds. Life happens. Anyway, I'm gonna find, actually, do you know what I have? I have a battery bank. That I'm sure I'm gonna need to plug my phone into because I'm sure being live on Instagram eats the battery like nobody's business. It's in here somewhere. I'm going to prop it up on that and plug it in. So, hello everyone. Hello, is anybody out there, anybody listening? Hello, it's me. My name is Andrew Doyle Tavia, or Doyle for short. And I am live on Instagram because Instagram wants to work and the official platform that ULFM is supposed to use is a heap of dog shit and doesn't work. So, and like I said to you earlier, I don't know how anybody's been doing anything because I don't know. I cannot imagine that I am the first person to have any issues. Maybe people didn't notice. Maybe people didn't care that nobody was watching them. But people generally watch Lack of Wit. So, hi everybody, it's me. Hello. Like I said, my head is big and fat now, but we're working on it. We're losing weight. We're We're walking 10k steps every day. How about that? I've made it a mission of mine. Everybody can hear me. Everybody can hear me. Okay. Better than on stream.skynet.wank.ie, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm supposed to be live on that, so if anybody tunes in on that way and can hear me, that's good for them. I doubt it somehow, because every time somebody SOS broadcast from UL, essentially, it's a gorgeous day out here in sunny Limerick. It's Jesus, it must be nearly 17 degrees, I'd say, but yeah. Fantastic day out. Fantastic day for to be inside doing a radio show. So it's whatever. I wanted to do the show and I'm a little off track. I had a monologue. I gave out a monologue that was very good, very, radio-esque, broadcaster-esque for about 10 minutes that nobody could fucking hear because they were listening to Taylor Swift. But that's neither here nor there. It's fine. It's fine. I am relaxed. I am zen. I am in... I am okay. I am fine. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was I spoke for about 10 minutes before I realized, hang on, can anybody hear me? And Kale tells me, ULFM, that 10 minutes is lost media. It's gone. There's no way that's anywhere. Until Kale said, oh yeah, I can only hear music. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Anyway, I'm not supposed to swear on ULFM, but I don't think it matters because nobody can hear me. It doesn't matter. I will get back on track and I will be serious. The adrenaline is pumping because I want to kill somebody, but it's fine. It's fine. Welcome to episode 1 of Lack of Wit at ULFM. I'll move a little bit, maybe move a little more camera centric, get a little more intimate. I feel like I'm doing a Zoom interview. Oh, my head is so fat now. Oh, whatever. It's whatever. Life gets in the way. Anyway. What I wanted to talk about today, and what I did talk about, was mental health stigma. And specifically stigma related to men's mental health. Because, as I noticed, that it's very easy for people to say that, oh, we should end mental health stigma or whatever. But then when we actually talk about, oh yeah, I have depression, or I'm suicidal, or my anxiety is so bad that I don't brush my teeth in the morning. I don't groom myself. Then it's uncomfortable and people don't talk about it. But that is the reality. That's the reality when you are mentally ill, when you have an illness mentally, and when you're not okay. That's what the reality is. It's not infographics on what my ADHD is like or what my autism is like. It's, my autism is such that I watch Top Gear clips for hours on end and then pass out. You don't hear that. You hear oh, I stim with my fingers, and that's acceptable and that's fine. Whereas the diversity and the spectrum of mental health is so vast. It's so enormous. And I recently had a very nasty spell. So I'm going to talk about that here. In order to break the stigma, actually break the stigma, I'm going to do something that is stigma breaking, which is discussing, warts and all, what my experience was like with my mental health over the last month. I don't know if anybody noticed, but for the last month or so, I have not been here. I have been away. I've not been, interacting online as much as I usually am. I've not, for people who know me from university, I've not been here. Anybody who knows me from a lecture or a tutorial or whatever, I've literally not been here. So, I will talk about why that is, what happened, and I want to preface it with, I am not unique. In any sort of capacity like this, I am not a unique, extravagant and extraordinary case of how depression and suicidal tendencies, gripped my life. There is so many like us. The chances are, lots of people that are going through like this, and that's my whole bit here, is that I am doing something that is stigma breaking by talking about this. Because people, I don't people, mental health Mondays, do you know what I mean? On the mental health Mondays emails we get, it's nobody says, Janet from fucking Leitrim, 20 years of age, had to go to hospital because she nearly killed herself. It's here's how positive thoughts can help you raise your low mood and whatever. And of course, If you have any questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, opinions, anything, I can see it now on my screen on Instagram. So you can fire away and let me know. And I will answer and reply to the best of my ability, which may be limited in some instances. Anyway, with all of that, that was essentially my monologue. It was a little less hasty the first time I did it, but it's fine. It's okay. Anyway, so basically, I'm going to get started now. This is not going to be happy. This is not going to be a triumphant story of, I was in a bad place, but I'm better now kind of crack. This is warts and all, what I went through and why I went through it. So I was in a relationship for 2 years with my ex, and that basically ended. But it ended in such a way, or it had a very bad impact on me. We had an argument. It was, she said I was being overprotective, and maybe I was, or controlling, and maybe I was. I'm not perfect. But my whole bit is I didn't like the time that she was spending around this one guy. Because he was a chancer and a bollocks, and I knew he was. So, Gentry basically goes, oh, look, I need time to think about it. And I'm like, fair enough. That 6-day period of I need to think about where our relationship is the worst anxiety I have ever felt in my entire life. It was like living in a panic attack for 6 days straight. I would get up and it's like hyperventilating. I wouldn't sleep. I went like periods of my basically just not sleeping at all. Just literally no sleep whatsoever. I would, lie awake in bed. I think I would eventually pass out. Like I would go to bed at like 11 in the morning after, getting up at like 6 in the evening. Literally just because I passed out, couldn't cope. That went on for 6 days. To try and like, sorry. The last Mental Health Monday email, I was like, people's drinking habits have required ambulances to be called on campus accommodation on more than one occasion. Maybe don't do that. But they never ask why people are binge drinking. What kind of happens? But anyway, that is a very good point. But as I was saying is that I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't cope, couldn't manage. I nearly took to drink. It was the first time in my life where I thought that maybe drugs and alcohol will actually resolve my problems. But yeah, for anybody who's just joining this, I was explaining how my anxiety for that period of time crippled me and I couldn't cope. Anyway, so that was 6 days like that. A friend of mine actually recently said that it feels like your blood's on fire. And it's true. It felt like there was TV static in my stomach 24/7, just building up and kind of bubbling over. And that's what it was like. Basically, the 6 days passed. Gentry said that, look, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I'm leaving you for somebody else. And that killed me in the inside. Thank you, Connor. You're cool too. That killed me on the inside. Literally. It was such a feeling of rejection that it's hard to put into words unless you've experienced it. And lads have experienced it all the time. Going through a relationship where it ends in such a visceral manner. Literally saying, you're not good enough. I'm leaving you for somebody else. It's such a blow to your self-esteem and, your thought process that, like, was I ever good enough? Will I ever be good enough for anybody else? Am I attractive? Am I a desirable to another person? That went through my mind. I literally broke down. I called my dad. I was like, I broke into tears. Like, I just wanted somebody to talk to. And I went home. And I went home for that period of time. And my dad was like, time heals all wounds and you'll get over it. And he was doing his best to cope. I have to say that my dad was brilliant. He was supportive. He would talk to me. He was empathetic. And he explained, he said, look, I've been through it. Your mother cheated on me. Look, I've been through what you've been through. So, but that was that. And I stayed home for about a week at that stage. And then I said that I felt guilty because I wasn't being a productive member. I felt guilty that I wasn't being a productive member of society. I felt guilty that I wasn't working. I wasn't studying. My dad spends so much money every month to get me accommodation and I wasn't there. So I felt guilty. So I said, look, I can't stay here. I have to go and work and, go back studying and get back into classes, get back into lectures and whatever. So I tried, went up for a couple of days and it was horrible. I was stewing. I was molten. I stayed in bed, never got up for tutorials, never got up for lectures, until it culminated where I had a conversation with my ex basically saying that, look, and like I want to preface this, that I'm over the grief that I felt losing my ex. I'm completely over now. But it revealed a lot of things to me that I didn't previously know about myself, including that basically since I was a teenager, I've been suicidal. Since I was 15, 16, say, that I've been suicidal. I do not, and to this day right now, I still harbor thought. I'm able to manage day to day, but to this day, I manage and harbor suicidal thoughts. So I basically said, because I was vocalizing my feelings at the time, and it was wrong, and it was a bad thing to do, but I was vocalizing my feelings to her at this time, and I said, look, I have three pillars in my life that is stopping me from killing myself. It is my parents. I don't want to put... But don't want anybody to call the guards, by the way. This is all historic. Don't... Look, I'm fine. I'm just explaining a story. I said to my ex, I said, look, I have three pillars in my life that are stopping me from killing myself. It's my dad, and it's my mother, and it was you. When you've gone, I don't see a progressive future where I just keep living. I said something like that to Gentry. And it is true. If I had a choice between living and dying, and I could die in such a manner that it wouldn't affect anybody, I would die tomorrow. I would, because I do not enjoy existing day to day. And this is what my suicidal thoughts look like. And it's ugly, and it's nasty, and it's hard to grip, and it's hard to understand. But that's what mental health is for a lot of people. I cannot say empirically that everybody who's suicidal looks like me or acts like me or talks like I do. But everybody who has thought suicidal thoughts have had to go through something like this in their life, and it's ugly. It's an ugly truth to look at, that fuck it, I don't want to live, I want to die. People who are suicidal are looking for something, and they can't find it, and the alternative is easier. The alternative, killing yourself, is easier. And for me, I'm still living day to day looking for a reason to continue existing. I'm looking for it. I'm trying very, very hard to find my purpose and my reason to continue. But that's basically what happened. I said to Gentry, look, you are one of my three pillars keeping me alive. And if you're going to fuck off and shack up with somebody else, then I'm losing that pillar. And I don't see, because we had, it was a 2-year-long relationship. We were chatting like, I can't wait till we get out of college so we can marry each other type crack. It was a long and very serious relationship. She spent Christmas with my family. Do you know what I mean? Like, this was serious. And then for all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm leaving you for somebody else. It killed me on the inside. It did. Gentry, in fairness, said that, we can't say that kind of thing, and called the guards. Called my dad and called the guards. And the guards came to my house, came to my accommodation in Plasty Village and said, we've had a report saying that you're a risk to yourself and all that. And I said, yeah, I explained to the guards what I was feeling and what I was thinking. And I asked them, and because I'm very practical, I'm very pragmatic. I love English, but I'm an engineer at heart, like my family, like my dad, my uncles. They're all engineers. So I was thinking very pragmatically. I said, look, they can't force me to go anywhere. But they offered that, Andrew, look, you can go with us and we'll get you sorted. And I said, look, if I go with you now, right now, what happens? What's the process? What does it look like? And she was lovely. She was a very nice Garda. Kind of altered my opinion on the Gardaí in this country a little bit, but she was lovely. And she said, look, if you go with us now, we'll take you to the Garda station, we'll get you to see a doctor, and then we'll bring you into the crisis centre in hospital in Limerick. And I was like, all right, sound, bet, I'll do it, I'll go with it. And I did. And it was honestly one of the better decisions I've ever made in my life, was deciding that, realising that, the way I'm thinking, the way my thought process is right now isn't healthy. It is not a good one to have. And I find it very hard because my dad he can't comprehend why I think the way I do. And I'm like, I don't want you to understand. I don't want, I don't, if you could empathize and understand why I think the way I do, then, that wouldn't be good, because I don't want anybody to think like I think. But I went to the hospital, got prescribed anti-anxiety medication to help me sleep. I was grand. It was a couple of hours. They were sound. That was another thing. The amount of people on trolleys was scary. Fuck me, that was terrifying. Got anxiety medication and went home, and I had to talk to my dad, and I said, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell me? I said to him, how do you explain to your family that you want to kill yourself? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that is broached, and I think that's wrong. I'm slipping. We're all for ending stigma around mental health, but how many people, and honestly, how many people could say to their parents, I want to kill myself. I don't want to be alive anymore. How many people would broach that topic of conversation with their family? And I don't think it's many. And that is what stigma looks like. It's the idea that, and that's what taboo looks like. The idea that, look, we're actually, we're trying to end the stigma. And then it's all, infographics, and it's pretty. And it's not, it's ugly. It's an ugly subject, and it looks ugly. And you have to look at it and be honest. Be honest with yourself that this is what it looks like. At least in my scenario. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. That would be terrifying if I was the only person alive that was ever suicidal. It's not. It's not true. Anyway, so I went home, went to my GP, had to, look, he said that you can't be at that kind of thing. I was like, well, fair enough. And I got a sick note from my GP saying that, even on the sick note, right, it didn't say Andrew couldn't study between the period of March or February 20th to March 13th. It was like Andrew was sick and wasn't able to study. Like, it didn't say that I was suicidal. It didn't say that I wanted to kill myself, because that would make people uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing to look at. That you don't see on the sick note that, Andrew wanted to kill himself, that's why he didn't do his assignment. Andrew was depressed, and Andrew was anxious, that's why he wasn't in class. The sick note just said I was sick. So I don't think any of my tutors or professors follow me on Instagram, and even less so that are watching right now. But yeah, that is why I wasn't here. I was suicidal. I was thinking of killing myself. That's why I wasn't in my Spanish tutorials or my history lectures or my English lectures. So yeah, but that's another thing that I realized that is at fault with our system regarding mental health and this kind of crack, is that we expect life to carry on as normal straight after. So, like, I had just gone through a suicidal patch, and they're like, okay, well, you're back in 2 weeks. You have a presentation due week 9. You have a assignment due week 13, or you've whatever. Like, it's life. The wheel spins, the cogs grind. Life must continue. That's why I'm here. Is that, like, I cannot I cannot just keep out, because it doesn't matter if you're suicidal. You have to keep going. You have to go into work, go into school, go into university, and continue. But yeah, I went in a couple of weeks later. I went into St. Anne's in Limerick, the community mental health centre. I had a chat with a lovely psychiatrist, and he basically said, look, I don't enjoy existing day to day. That's my issue. I don't enjoy being alive. I don't enjoy the, life of suffering and the crack. But, it was taking it a bit too far. The Bible said this and said that life was supposed to be suffering, but I'm not really a big fan of that outlook on life. So I want to be fixed. I want to be, I want to be sorted. And I'll be in again in 2 weeks' time. And he said, look, it's only one session, can't, fix you just by chatting to you once. So I got diagnosed antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, and I have to take them every day. Take 2 antidepressants every day and the anxiety medication before I go to bed. The antidepressants are interesting. They make me yawn all the time, and it's very weird because I'm yawning like basically every couple of seconds, and I'm not tired. So if you see me around campus, or you see me and I'm just yawning for no fucking reason, and it's like 2 p.m, it's probably the pills. Personally, what I've tried to do I've just tried to get my life back on. Like, I have, for a long time, I was living, and maybe I still am, I'm living for the sake of other people. Like, I am alive because the grief that losing a child is not something I want to ever inflict on anybody. Because I've seen it. I've seen what it looks like. And I'm not inflicting that on my parents. So that's why I'm here. But I realize that I cannot live purely for the sake of my parents. I have to live my own life. I have to be able to enjoy living for Andrew, for my sake, I want to be able to continue so that, I go tomorrow thinking that I'm alive because I enjoy something, as opposed to I'm alive because, my parents would be sad if I wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So I've started taking multivitamins. I've started, walking 10 kilometers or not 10 kilometers, doing a 10K steps every day. I started journaling. I continuing journaling. I've journaled for a long time. Writing everything down, speaking to more people, interacting with more people, just getting out and living. Because, and I'll be completely honest, when I get home at night, and it's just me, and it's just my thoughts, that loneliness is absolutely crushing. Like, when like you sit down and you stop talking and the din is over and the silence, it's silent. There's no noise, there's no interaction, you're not moving. All of this, it just floods you. It hits you like a brick shithouse, like a train. And that is something I'm still dealing with. So I'm spending all of my day out, moving. If you're watching this and you want to go for pints, let me know. I'm your man. I don't drink, but I will go out with you. That's a fact. That is an open invitation. I am openly inviting myself to all of your social gatherings because I need to. I just need to get out and talk and just be around people. And that's what's keeping me going. And that, to me, is what my mental health struggles have looked like. And you don't see that on the infographic. You don't see that on, your Mental Health Mondays email. You don't see that on, your Leia healthcare ads or your HSE ads or whatever. You get, I don't know if I have them on me, but literally, I was suicidal and I was depressed and I was all this and that and the other. And they give me a handout saying like, how to sleep better. And it was like a picture of somebody in bed like this and all this and that and the other. So, it's not taken as seriously as a topic like this is warranted. When you're suicidal, like I was suicidal, it's, you don't solve it with a handout and, positive thoughts and prayers. It is a very serious issue and it is something that is not taken seriously. But that is my experience. And like I prefaced at the start, I'm not unique at all. This is not an experience that is unique to me. I think the statistic is like suicide in this country is the biggest killer of ages between 18 and 35 for men. Like more than car crashes, cancer, heart disease, stroke, all of that, COVID, suicide kills more people every year. And it's because, people aren't properly aware of what somebody who is suicidal is going through. I said it, about 20 minutes ago at this stage. Everybody who is suicidal is looking for something. They need something. It's either affection, care, love, somebody to talk to, companionship, a purpose, a reason. Everybody who's suicidal has been needing for something like that, but decided that the alternative was easier. Because it is. Suicide is easy, living is hard. That's a fact. It is so easy to just, like that, it's over. You don't have to deal with the consequences. You don't have to be around for it. But living, day to day, that's the struggle. That's the issue. Being alive 24/7, 365 is the challenge. It's not killing yourself. It's being here. That's the issue. That's the struggle. So, Tank, you missed my half-hour monologue about how I was suicidal. But I don't know if I can save this afterwards. I don't know. I don't know. I can't spend the next half an hour going back over it, Tank. Basically, I just said that I went through I'm suicidal, and I was suicidal, and that mental health looks ugly, and we need to treat it for what it is. It is sad, yeah. Anyway, anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts, queries? Because I have about 6 minutes left, and I've gotten what I needed to say off my chest to somebody, to the 3 or 4 people who basically stayed here for the whole time. I've gotten it all off my health. Or off my chest, sorry. And where am I? I'm in the ULFM broadcasting studio. I'm supposed to be going live over the airwaves, but it didn't work, and I don't have time to set up my Twitch setup. So I just said I'd use my slot and go live on Instagram because I can do it like that off my phone. So that's what I did. That is what I did. If anybody has any questions for me, has any comments about what they went through, or their family, or somebody they know went through, now is your time. So, questions for me, questions for anything, just comments. I'm open for audience discussion because I've done a lot of talking and I want more interaction with other people. This isn't a lecture or tutorial. Like you can just ask me anything. It doesn't matter. And it might, even if it sounds silly, it's fine. I don't care. Just ask it. I do not care at all. Literally any question. And obviously, if you don't want to ask a question, that's fine. But I have 5 minutes left. And, it's kind of a waste of 5 minutes. If you've no question, I don't know who's there. It says there's 4 people live. I've seen that go up and down. So anybody who's still here can ask the questions. I find it very. I'm surprised I didn't grip more people because like a lot of people joined and then it's like, oh, he's talking about he wanted to kill himself. Can't be arsed. I'll watch something else. I'll do something else. How is my study going? Terrible. To be completely honest with you, it's terrible. I've missed out on about a month of work because of my struggles and my issues. So I've been gone for about a month. So it's pretty poor. I was able to do a history presentation, but I missed out on a Spanish midterm. I missed out on an English close commentary assignment. I have no idea what's going on in my psychology assignment, but I was able to do my history presentation. So, and my history tutor has been sound, and he said, look, as long as you do your other thing by week 13, you're fine. Hello, Nikki 2200. What's the crack? You missed the banter. I was talking about how I wanted to kill myself for the last half hour. That's basically what I've been talking about. So, yeah, my study is going terrible, and that's the God's honest truth. At least I did something. Yeah, I did all I could do. I did it yesterday. I did it yesterday in the library over the course of a few hours, and I gave it about an hour and a half ago. It was what I was doing before I was here. I was giving my history presentation. So that was the crack with my study. Any other questions? Holiday claps. I don't know what you're clapping for, but I'll clap as well. Clap along. Anyway, I've 3 minutes left for questions. I don't know what happens. I don't know, like on the ULFM schedule thing, it goes like 2 to 3 lack of whatever, and then it's like a blank gray space. So I don't know if I'm kicked out at 3. I often hear people talking about how those who commit suicide are selfish for committing suicide. And they're absolutely true. Absolutely 100% it is selfish. If I killed myself, it would be because I was being selfish. Because like I said earlier, it is easy to kill yourself. It is very, very, very easy to kill yourself. And it's very, very, very hard to keep living. And the selfless, whether selfish is good or bad in this context, is up for interpretation. It's up for debate. But in a literal sense, it is selfish because you are doing it because it's easier for you to die than it is for you to live on. So whether that's a good or a bad thing is, I don't know. That's for the priests and the scholars. But it is a selfish thing. And that's my opinion. I didn't kill myself because I didn't want to be selfish. Because, like I said earlier, that my parents, when I was in Garbury, I watched somebody's mother deal with that grief, and his brother deal with that grief, and I watched it happen. I was at that funeral, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. Never. I was never put my parents through that. That's why I'm alive. Because I wouldn't put somebody through that. So that's and I've fallen. My phone is on fire. And I'm sweating. It's hot in this room. We're not allowed drinks. We're not allowed drinks in the station, but you know. Doesn't work anyway, who cares? I'm gonna wrap up because I'm sure at 3 o'clock somebody's gonna come in and kick me out. So I don't know. I'm gonna sanitize. My hands are kind of grimy. Oh, there's microbeads in this? That's not right. That's bad for the environment. It's bad because the microbeads like go down the drain and they're probably. I gotta go, but thank you for sticking around and sharing your story. No problem. Thank you for being here. It's over anyway. It's 3 o'clock, so you're not missing. I'm gonna wrap up because I'm convinced that at 3 o'clock somebody's gonna come in here with an axe and kill me. But it has been enlightening to be here, and I'm glad that I spread my tale through at least a couple of people. Not as many people as I'd like, but who cares? You stuck around and you listened. So. Yeah, there was an old classmate of mine who killed herself in 2020 and I went to her funeral. I didn't know her, but I was around her for 3 years. It's horrible, especially for the family. It is. That's why I am here. So, it's been fun. It's been... I've literally just got a message saying that I'm still in the studio. Yeah. So, thank you all for sticking. Thank you all for watching. I will be here live, hopefully, with the setup working as it's supposed to be. Same time next week. At 2 to 3 on Friday. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you again later.